Sorry. My voice is still a little kind of stuck, so I got some tea here this morning. So don't mind if I sip on my tea a little bit while we chat. It's that time of year here where I live where it goes from hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold. It's supposed to be really snowy, but it hasn't been snowing. So between talking to my stream, we're going down this rabbit hole hugely. Everybody on my stream is coming and talking to me, and hey Joshy, we're jumping down this rabbit hole. And so I wrote down a few points finally this time that I kind of want to hit, because we're jumping down this rabbit hole. How are you doing, my Joshy? That I want to go ahead and hit and go down, maybe to bring some clarification, kind of do some comparisons and clarifications. Sorry, gotta clear up my throat. So yeah, me and my stream, we've been jumping down this rabbit hole, talking about this a lot while we're gaming. And I was like, shoot, I think I gotta make a second video. It's like I didn't even really want to make the first one, but everybody's going down that rabbit hole. And then we were coming up with stuff. And I was like, oh crap, here's second video. Here we go, second video. You want me to put... I don't know if you want... I know Bread sometimes watches my YouTube channel. I know. Alright, so first, thing I wanted to talk about is, yeah, okay, so let's just say it, because everybody's talking about why are we making somebody famous that was part of an unaliving of her mother? Why? And why is it bothering people? Why are some people are getting mad at the people getting bothered by it, and that aren't just... And it's because it's just plain and simple. You go down to, it is never okay for a victim to become a perpetrator. It is never okay. It is never okay. It's like, and I kept thinking about these comparisons. Like, it's like when you're at school and the teacher tells you to be nice to the kid that's bullying you. To be nice to the kid that's bullying you. Because they have problems at home. So it excuses the bullying. So now it's like you're being re-victimized all over again. Because now you gotta be nice to the bully. Because they're being victimized, so it's okay for them to victimize you. Round and round the cycle of abuse goes. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to put disclaimers up on these videos. We will be talking about SA, abuse, the R word, victims and what they go through. And so I keep forgetting to put a disclaimer at the beginning of these videos. I'm just barely starting into this crime thing. I was doing psychology at first, then my streams went to gaming, and now I'm trying to get back into doing psychology and crime and stuff. And I keep forgetting to disclaimer that. Well, this isn't a gaming stream. This one's a talking stream, but... So, anyways. Yes. It's like the wife, the battered wife who unalives her husband because she says that's the only way out. But it's not. You could call for help. Police will come over and help you pack. If you call them and say, my husband's going to be home at 5 o'clock tonight, I need you to get here before then, just in case he finds me leaving. There's shelters, there's things that can be done to get you safely out of your situation. So if you're being abused by someone in your home, the law has safety things in place to get you out of there. I mean, Gypsy could have left, even just gone to a neighbor's, called the police. The police would have walked her back to her house, helped her pack her stuff. She had money for a bus ticket to go to Rod's. She could have told her dad and said, I'm on the bus, I'm on my way. But then that brings me back to my last video, and we'll go into that more too. About, and that's where we go into this part. Because, let's see, hey, Joe Boy, Jeremy, right? Jeremy. I told you I'd be on YouTube more, but not gaming, but me and my stream were going over some videos, and there was this picture of Dee Dee and Gypsy, the nose to nose, head down, nose to nose, that loving, just barely touching noses, and they were reading a little excerpt, and in that excerpt they said, the lie is what binded us together. And you're like going, wait a second. The lie is what bonded you guys together? So that shows that you did eventually, like I said in my other video, you can't, yeah, I remember you, Jeremy. I remember your new name now. You changed your name a couple times, but now I remember you. You can't fault a kid for being conned into helping you lie, because they don't know exactly what they're doing. However, you do become of an age of accountability where and so there you come to an age of accountability where now you know better, and if you continue on, you're now starting to be complicit in it because you can't do something about it. You have choice. Life's been okay, Jeremy. Just hanging in there. How's your life? How's things going? How's your new baby sibling? And so yeah. And people like to talk about, okay, well, what about the BB gun situation? And I think that's where we definitely know she came in age of accountability. And I think that's where the plan kind of started to hatch. Because she picked up that weapon off the table and tried it herself out of anger. And sometimes you do stuff out of anger, especially you don't mean, you mean, you don't mean, you mean, you do mean, but you don't mean, but you mean, you mean, you're confused, you're angry. However, her hindsight was very different. Her mom did go to the hospital, but she lied and said that someone robbed them with a BB gun and shot them. Or can I say that word? Oh. Anyways, I think that's where Gypsy learned I cannot do the unaliving, because she watched her mom have to lie about the robbery to get Gypsy out of trouble. And so that's where Gypsy learned, okay, this has got to be done for me to leave, but it can't be me, because somebody else needs to be in trouble for this. Hey Brian, how you doing? And so somebody actually used the word hitman, and I thought that was perfect, because I never thought of it in this situation till somebody said the word hitman. And I'm like, what? Because there was an exchange, not of money, but there was an exchange. There was an exchange. So that's just because the exchange wasn't money, should it be held any different? How long do people go away for hiring a hitman? I'm good. Just starting my new crime series on YouTube. So I think that's where she was able to look back on hindsight and say, oh, it wasn't me. I'd be in so much trouble. And that's where the plan hatched, that it's got to be somebody else. This is what's got to happen, but I got to find somebody else to do it. Somebody else has to take the fall so that I can. That's where she thought she would never be punished. She would be free. Is she's like, okay, somebody else is going to take the fall for this, not me. Because by her mom making up that lie about the robbery, it taught her a huge lesson. Not a good one either. Radio, there you are. Hey. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's probably beautiful running around. I do have a kitty cat. It's daytime. She's running around. Big fluffy black tail. I know, I can't wait till I get upstairs, go back upstairs, and my background will be better and everything when I get back upstairs. Yeah, when I get upstairs. Okay, so let's see, what other points? Okay, so oh, and that's one other point I wanted to touch down on her complicity. There we go. Maybe somebody in the comment section or something that knows about this could tell me how this works. It is. If you spend all day in a wheelchair and all night in a bed and you never use your legs, wouldn't your muscles atrophy? Wouldn't you be very weak? Because they were talking about how she walked 3 miles home from a hospital after seeing Dan. Or Dan's friend. No, nobody knows if it's Dan or Dan's friend. Because their windows, I've always found it weird how heavily covered their windows have always been. Because that makes me think that as soon as she wills herself inside and shuts that door, boom, out of the chair. Yeah, you'd get blood clots, you'd get all kinds of things if you never moved. And so that's one of the things that boggles me about her case, is how well she walks. When she does walk, before she went to jail, how well she walks. Because, yeah, you'd get, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I mean, if you're sitting in a wheelchair all day, never using your legs, and then you're in bed at night, and you get back up, get in the wheelchair. I mean, the only time she's not in her wheelchair or in a bed is when she's in the bath. Or she's got to go to the bathroom. I bet she gets up out of her wheelchair. But, like, I think that once that door closes, that's why their windows are all heavily boarded up. Because once that door closes and nobody's at their house, she's just up and about. And it shows how complicit she is. Because she's like, oh, as soon as they hear a knock on the door, she immediately jumps back in that chair, straps herself back in. I gotta go do chores. Alright, we'll see you soon. I'm gonna start doing more on YouTube and stuff. We'll see you later. Thanks for saying hi. Yeah, well, because ever since I had that on my brain for a while, but then also, since my kids left, and I've been less active since my kids have been gone, I have a hard time going and walking around even Walmart for an hour. Because sitting here a lot, doing a lot of streaming, I'm streaming more now because kids are gone. And I'm less active. I'm not walking to the park. I'm not walking around the park. I'm not doing a bunch of things. And I'm sitting here thinking, going, wow. Because I'm not walking up and down those stairs all day anymore. I don't even go up those stairs. I go up them once a week to do laundry, and that's it. Detective got suspicious. What's up, Brian? Because I know I'm feeling it in my legs that I'm less active. And so I'm sitting here thinking, but if I was in a wheelchair every single day, you can't just get up and walk. You can't just get up and walk and run down a street. You can't just get up and walk and run down the street after being wheelchair bound for years. What does sleep paralysis mean? So sleep paralysis, sometimes when you go to sleep, you have different parts of your brain that work your body. And I probably might get this a little wrong. But like your brain, a part of it will wake up, but you're still asleep. And so, and I've had this happen to me before, like multiple times. It feels really, really weird. Like your brain's awake, like wide awake, but your eyes are closed, so you're seeing nothing but darkness, and you're trying to move your body, any part of your body, your arms, your legs. You're trying to get up, but you can't. You just can't get up. And you can flail and throw a fit all you want. Your body won't move. And so your body is literally paralyzed in sleep while your brain's awake and freaking out. Did you know that Dee Dee was able to tell them that Hurricane Katrina was a curse on this world, but a huge blessing for Dee Dee? It's an unfortunate thing that happened all the way around for multiple reasons, but especially for this reason, because it was a blessing to her. She was able to get Gypsy a new birth certificate and lower her age. She was able to fabricate doctors' records and reports. She was able to fake her whole life. Oh, it's very scary, Brian. It's very scary. Sleep paralysis can be extremely horrifying. I remember one time I felt my dad knocking on my head going, "Rose, get up." And I could hear my dad talking, and I could hear him walk away. And I could feel him tapping on my head. But I couldn't move. I wanted to scream, I wanted to move, I wanted to do anything. But that part of my brain was still shut down into sleep mode. And so, yeah, it's like being awake and asleep at the same time. And yeah, it is horrifying because you have no control over your body. Like, how long? What do you mean? How long do you think that it happened? The one time I've done sleep, I've been able to kick and scream and get out of it. Because I just keep trying to move. I just keep trying to move. And I keep trying to do everything I can to move. And eventually my body will start to move. Eventually my body will come out of it. Sleep paralysis. So yeah. For me, it for minutes it would go on. It would seem like forever. But it's hard to tell time in that situation. How long you're laying there kicking and screaming for, because it's like somebody's holding you down and you can't move. And they could only hold you down for 10 seconds, but it feels like 5 minutes. I don't know how long it lasts for. And everybody's probably different when they have it, because everybody's brain is different. Like I said, I was able to kick and scream and eventually pull myself out of it. I was able to eventually just like shake my body out of it. Because thank God, because it is scary. It is so scary to be awake and have zero control over your body. Because when that part of your brain wakes up, you don't even realize, like, that your body's not. You don't know why you can't open your eyes. All of a sudden, you can't open your eyes. You can't do anything. Alright, let's see. What's some other points I wanted to hit? Okay, yeah, I was talking about the hitman part. Boy. Because, yeah, this should be treated like a hitman kind of thing. Me, I'd be crying. Yeah, it is that scary. I wouldn't doubt it, Brian. It is. Sleep paralysis can be that scary. It can be very, very scary. And oh yeah, what brings me to me and Fur were trying to figure out. I wonder if anybody else has figured this out, but we can't figure it out. It'd take too much time, too much effort. We're not that good at computers. We tried to dig back in time, go back in time, and find Nick's original profile. We wanted to know what it said. What keywords did he use? Keywords like autism and stuff that brought her there, knowing, okay, this is somebody I can manipulate. Because it had certain keywords that she knew to look for. If anybody ever pulls that up, I would like to see his original profile. If anybody could find that. Oh my gosh. We tried. We were able to find a website that clips websites from back in time. But everybody we found in Wisconsin, most of them were female. None of them 20. We were looking for 25, 26-year-old male, and we couldn't find them. And so that would be interesting to see if anybody knows what it said. Maybe if somebody knows him that talked to him way back then and knows what the profile says, I would love to know what the profile said. Yeah, I've been digging down again and found some more interesting things. Like somebody said something about so the FBI found their phones. The text messages, they went through all the text messages between Gypsy and Nick the day before. Whose profiles? Oh, we were trying to look for Nick's dating profile on christiansdateforfree.com. We tried to go back in time on that website and find Nick's original profile. What did he put in his description box? Because we want to know what words he used, why Gypsy chose his profile and started talking to him and knew she could manipulate him. Like, what did he put in his dating profile? What do you think she put? He put in the dating profile. I would love to see Nick's original dating profile. Me and Fur and I think somebody named Queen. The other night we were up to like 3 in the morning trying to find this dating profile. I ended up finally having to. Elandrix came in, the daddy streamer, busting us up, telling us to go to bed. The scariest thing that ever happened to you? Scariest thing that ever happened to me. Well, I don't know, like, lots of scary things happen. Depends, I guess, on what we're talking about. I've hitchhiked once. That was scary. Getting in some stranger's car. Never hitchhiked before. I don't know, but nothing scary happened, just scary situation. Scary things, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, I have childhood history of SA. I mean, that's scary. It's like it depends on what kind of subject we're talking about. One time I lost my puppy. Found her. I've lost a turtle before. I've lost a kid in a grocery store. That's scary. Actually, a couple times. My dad once lost my daughter in a grocery store. About killed my dad. No, no, don't say that word on stream. I was very angry with him. Very, very angry. Because we couldn't find her, and we ended up having to get store staff to help look for her and everything. And a couple times we've lost my daughter, and things go through your head when you lose a child, and sometimes especially a daughter. I mean, I got decades of experiences to go off of. But yeah, Joshy, we were trying to look for his profile. We were trying to find how open and honest was Nick on his profile about, like, his autism and stuff and whatnot. I think Nick was looking to connect with someone and was Gypsy. Well, I know when Gypsy first got with him, you're right on there, Joshy, because when Gypsy first got with Nick, she played off all of her disabilities on him and her mentality and stuff. But later on, after they became boyfriend and girlfriend, she ended up confessing about how normal she was. Normal. And FBI agent. Who's a child, you have a feeling. Yeah, we thought Aurora, it turned out she was at a friend's house, but I mean, images of her being kidnapped were just going in my head. Like, just, oh gosh, just spinning in my head of, we gotta find her now. How are we gonna find her if she's kidnapped? Like, and you're hopefully hoping your daughter isn't going through any horrors. And you wonder, you put yourself in her shoes, is she scared right now? What's going on? You know? Does she know she's in trouble? FBI agent said that in a case that he's just. So he was looking for somebody that had similar. So she totally kind of conned him at first of, oh yeah, I have similar disabilities as you. And then after she got him all surely wound up and dating her, she was able to confess and say, oh no, actually I have none of this, by the way. And so that's where she kind of first got, I guess, you're bringing up some good points, Joshy, because I guess that's how she kind of got her hooks in him, was first by saying, look, we're a lot alike. And then she dashed that and said, never mind, no, we're not. But by then, she'd already had him hooked. Hook, line, sinker, done. I mean, what do you do when you spent time with this girl? She's your girlfriend, and it seems like everything you want. Because Nick's dad was quoted saying, I taught Nick to love everyone and forgive people and stuff. And so Nick would definitely be the type of guy to be like, okay, fine, but you're still my girlfriend because I'm not going to judge you. Because that's what his dad taught him. Which is a great trait. Unfortunately, people like Gypsy took advantage of it. Because he's not going to dump her now that he finds out that she has none of what she said at first. So that's a good point. That's a good point. Because that's what I wanted to know. I wanted to know how she hooked him, what he said. So he probably was very open and honest about everything. About his disorders and everything. Literally just everything. He was probably extremely open and honest about it. Sometimes people take advantage of honest people. Good, honest people. And they ask why there's no good, honest people in this world. They all get taken advantage of. And then they go run and hide. They hide from the world because they're tired of being abused by the world. Gypsy now, yeah, she got paroled out, so she's on parole for probably like the next 18 months or something like that. And that's why everybody's fired up and talking, because while she was in jail, not very many people were talking about her case. There's a few streamers here and there that would stream about her case. And they put up those TV shows. There was a few things about her case here and there. You'd find a trickle here and there about her case. But now that she's out, parole is when you're supposed to be in prison serving time, right? Or in jail. But they let you back into the outside world, but you still have to check in once a month with your probation officer, and you still have terms that you're bound by, or you go back on the inside. So there's like, they'll do parole for multiple different reasons. Either, you have a right to parole because you served enough time, or they'll parole people because overpopulation, or parole is part of our justice system. You get charged with a crime, you make a plea deal to not go to jail, but you'll be on probation instead for a certain amount of time instead of sitting in prison. So it's a way to stay out of prison, but the law still watches over you and still has rules over you. So right now she gets to be, literally, she's not behind bars, but once a month she has to report to a probation officer. Like, she can't leave state without the permission of the probation officer. She can't do anything without the permission of her probation officer. So you get to be free, home, in bed, be home, do your thing, but the law is still watching you. The law is still got their mitts on you. They're still watching over you. So she traded her last 18 months in prison for probation. So she's still serving the full 10 years, just she's serving the last, because it's called getting out, because you've been good time, or whatever that's called. If you've done enough time, 85% of your sentence, you've done 80, and you've been good, you haven't gotten in trouble, you haven't done anything bad, you haven't got caught with anything bad, you are allowed to get out. Because if you can prove yourself in prison to be good, they'll let you back out in the real world, but on probation. So yeah, so she's on probation right now. She's being watched over, so she's mad at that. They have a video, they showed a video of her crying when she found out what probation is. She started crying, saying that she might as well just be locked up. She feels like she's locked up still. And it's like, well, dude, you're free. Because the first thing she did when she got out of prison was leave the state. And her probation officer called her and said, get your butt back in Louisiana. And she had to drive all the way back to Louisiana, and she was pissed. Because she didn't just get out and do whatever she wanted to do. She got called back to Louisiana. And her probation officer's like, you got to ask permission for that, You can't leave these state lines without me telling you to, or me saying you can. You can't go on vacation outside Louisiana unless you got a good reason for doing it, and I say yes. And so there's this video of Gypsy crying and closing herself in a room and crying and freaking out and throwing this whole fit that she didn't have complete 100% freedom like she thought she was gonna get as soon as she got out. And it's like, well, and that's where everybody's mad at, too, is because, like, I'm in Utah. In Utah, she would have been held under the first principle law. Just like in California, Charles Manson was held under the first principle law. If it's your idea and people are following your orders and your idea, it doesn't matter that you didn't actually commit the crime, because this person would have never done it if you hadn't have made them, suggested it, whatever you did to get them to do it. It never crossed that person's mind. So we have a law called the first principle law. You're held under the first principle that if it's your idea or your orders, you're going away as if you did it. So she would have been held under the first degree. She would have got first degree, not second degree. But Missouri, well, there's where luck fell in Gypsy's lap again, was she happened to be in a state that does not have the first principle law. Which most states, I think, do. And that's why everybody else is still mad at her too. Because in her interview, she's going, well, in the state of. She starts out by saying, well, in the state of Missouri. In the state. And so it's like, quit saying in the state of. You know, but technically, in a way, she's right. Because in the state of Missouri, you're not held under a first principle law. And therefore, she got second degree. Although there's some proof that she might have been part of it. Because Nick only claims 4. 4 out of the 17 wounds are his. So people are thinking it's either A, Gypsy's, or B, Gypsy's and Dan's, or just Dan, or C, Dan and... but there's some evidence coming out that Dan may have been there that night. Because there was a cigarette butt in the driveway, which I bet they didn't gather it. They could try and test DNA on it now. I bet the police, I don't know if the police gathered that cigarette butt and can test DNA on it. Because, and there was a black baseball cap found in the hallway that Nick doesn't wear baseball caps. Gypsy does, however. So it's either, some people are saying it doesn't look like Gypsy's normal one, though. It looks like a Steelers one. And Gypsy never wore a football team. And so if it's a football team, then it wasn't hers. Then that could be Dan's. Because Nick was left alone in the interrogation room, and while he was left alone in the interrogation room, Nick said, I'll apologize to everybody except for Dan. I don't want to apologize to Dan. And then he goes on to say, I bet Gypsy left with Dan. He's actually thinking that he's the only one in jail, and that Gypsy took off with Dan. I enjoy playing games with everybody. That's go on Twitch and play games with everybody. My YouTube channel is more for talking than playing games. It's for chatting about subjects. The Twitch one is for gaming and chatting. And Dan is the first guy that Gypsy ran away with. That the mom went and chased her down, found her and brought her home. The guy she met at the sci-fi con. Yeah, right after this we'll get onto Twitch. I just wanted to get this set aside. I'd been making notes on it for a while. I wanted to get this set aside and done. Guess I just got a couple more points to touch down on. Because a couple new things I heard about the case, Joshy, was, I told you that the FBI saw the text the day prior between her and Nick, and the day of, leading up till. So, Gypsy, it's the day of, and Nick is on his way down to Gypsy, and Gypsy tells Nick that her and her mom had been fighting, and that her mom kicked her out of the house, and that she had slept on the porch last night with a bunch of bugs and stuff, and she wasn't very happy because she had to like pee in a bush, and she was sleeping on the porch because her mom kicked her out. So she was free to go. She was free to leave. Which totally backs up my theory of, well then if she was free to go, if she was that free to go, that Dee Dee wasn't going to chase her down this time. Why did her mom have to be unalived? Because two can keep a secret if one is. And that's what I was saying in my last video, was, yeah, two can keep a secret if one is. Because, she was pretty much kicked out. If that was her telling Nick the truth, that, and Nick had texted a friend and said, well, she hasn't left the house yet because she still wants to pack some of her things. But her mom kicked her out, but she needs to pack things. So was it a lie or not? Because if she slept on the porch, then how'd she get let back in the house the next day? Because she was in the house to let Nick in to do their thing. So either that was the truth and she had freedom, or that was a lie to get Nick to feel sorry for her all the more of, this is how my mom's abusing me. The Hello Kitty case? No. What's the Hello Kitty case? I can look up this case later. And then Gypsy was also another snippet she gives later on that tells you she's looking back on hindsight. is she said that her mom, they did a prison interview, and she said, my mom should be where I am now. Because the reason why she thought she had to unalive her mother, it's about a girl who $40,000. Okay. I have to look that up. Where was I going with this? Because once again, if you watch that scene in the act, Dee Dee lets Gypsy know, if I go down for this, you're going down with me too. And Dee Dee had Gypsy scared into thinking that everybody would think that Gypsy was just this scam artist, like her mom. However, Gypsy now knows, because the sympathy she has now from everybody, she now knows that her mom would have been the only one to get in trouble. Had she ran away and turned her mom in, she most likely would not have gotten in trouble. She knows that now. And now she'd rather have her mom in prison instead of in the grave. Well, she's not in the grave. She's in the toilet. Stole 40. Okay. I'll have to look up this case. And so, yeah, it just kind of proves my theory all the more that she just wanted to keep her secrets. Because right now, all we have is Gypsy's narrative, what she's telling. We don't have Dee Dee's narrative, but could we trust Dee Dee's narrative? Don't know. But at least she'd have a chance to tell it. But Gypsy probably would have got a good amount of sympathy, just not 8 million worldwide sympathy, had she done the right thing. She probably would have got a few thousand people who still knew who she was and garnered some sympathy that way, because that would have gone out as national news. Her mom would have been all over national papers for what she did. And Gypsy would have, they probably wouldn't have prosecuted her. They probably would have said, okay, yeah, this girl was completely coaxed into it, but she ended up doing the right thing. She finally ran away, got help, turned her mom in. She probably even could have cut a deal for her testimony. They probably would have cut a deal with Gypsy for her testimony against her mother in court. They probably would have said, yeah, we'll either give you a minimum sentence or no sentence at all. We just want your testimony against your mother because she's the only witness against her mother's crimes. And so the prosecution would have definitely swung a deal with Gypsy and said, we need you to sit up on the stand and tell your side of the story. And they would have traded punishment for that testimony so that 100% Dee Dee would get convicted 100%. She stole $4,000 and was unalived. Oh, so she stole the money out of a backpack? or something. I'll have to look up that case. Because I like to look up cases, and if I see something new and original about it, then I talk about it. And I've had some original ideas in Gypsy's case, so I've been talking about them because I did have some original ideas. And yeah, me and Fur and stuff have been diving deep down that rabbit hole every night on Twitch. Well, except for last night because I got off early, but yeah, and I stayed on last night, but I needed to get some sleep. Well, I couldn't stay up late last night because we stayed up till 3 in the morning trying to look for stuff. We wanted to see Nick's profile so we could talk about that. We wanted to talk about Nick's profile and stuff. We wanted to bring whatever that said into the case. We wanted to be like, oh, so this is probably how she got her hooks in him. This is what he wrote and saw. Alright, well, I'll go over to Twitch where we can game and stuff and talk and chat and game. But I just wanted to hit those few bullet points on this case here. Oh, the ending bullet point is some people are now saying, this is not my original thought, which it was mine in a way. Well, kind of what. But, I mean, you see it, but you don't say it, but that, Dee Dee did not have Munchausen's or factitious disorder but imposed on another, that she just comes from a con family. She's been conning. Like, she stole checks from her mother and everything. Dee Dee, as an adult, she never tried to even work for money. She always decided to steal it, get it from people in an unlawful way. And so that she's just a good con woman because she doesn't want to work. She's just a good con woman. That brings a thought to my head. Did she purposely get pregnant with Gypsy to get child support? Wait a sec. Did she purposely get pregnant by young Rod? Because he didn't know any better and she did? She was 24. He was 17. To get child support? To get money off a man? Is that why Gypsy was even conceived? To trap Rod? But it didn't trap him. Trapped his money. Didn't trap Rod. Yeah, I just got a little upset last night. I don't know. I got tired of turning around and seeing everybody way back there. And me being by myself. And I was just like, forget it, I'm done. I was like, I'm done. I'm tired of turning around and seeing nobody backing me up. I wonder if that was another con to get money. Have a baby, get money. Because once you have a baby, also you can file for state's help. So was Gypsy always a con from the moment of conception? You think she was a con from the moment of conception? It happened twice over in the game, and I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'm done. I wonder if she was a con from the very beginning. That's an interesting idea. That Gypsy was always a way to get money and a con from the very beginning. Well, Rod was 17. He wasn't an adult when Gypsy was conceived. Rod woke up on his 18th birthday and said, "Wait a second, I don't want to be married. I don't love Dee Dee," and he left her. Okay, look for me on Twitch, Brian. I'll see you later. Go eat. I'm gonna head over to Twitch now. We'll say goodbye to YouTube. And we'll chat about crime and stuff later, on a later date. Maybe I'll finally get to that Lizzie Borden one. And I also got another one I want to talk about that has to do with Danny Masterson. And so we'll talk about that later. I just got to get these set aside because this is like blowing up right now and people are talking to me about it and it's on the brain and I'm like, okay, fine, we'll go ahead and we'll do this. I mean, I love this case. I just didn't want to touch something so high profile. I mean, this is very high profile to touch. And Danny Masterson's kind of is high profile to touch, but I don't think that high profile, not this high profile. But yeah, his is kind of little on the high end too. Lizzie Borden is semi up there. I mean, everybody knows her story. It's like, who doesn't? All right, YouTube. Thanks for watching. Come in and chat when I'm live. I need to come up with a day and time I go live so people know when I'm live. But right now it's just sporadic when I come in, when I feel like I got things put together that I need to say. So, because I'm on Twitch a lot too. I'm on Twitch every day. But you can, yeah, find me over there every day. But I come here when I can find a moment to squeeze in. And I did wake up early this morning too, so, because I went to bed real early last night, so I was able to wake up and squeeze this in. All right, you guys, we'll talk to you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and come and chat with me and ask questions, and we'll talk more and brainstorm more and think about things. All right, love you guys.